Couple of minutes, folks. About 2 minutes. We'll get going for real here. About 2 minutes. 1 minute. Less than 60 seconds.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who brings the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy, and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, in the North American continent of the Western Hemisphere of this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is the Kennedy Effect, live with you for the 22nd of March, 2026. The 22nd of March, 2026. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Hot101.net, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, Ghost Claw Productions, and the Kennedy Effect on Facebook, in addition to the 100 plus other places that we have shared the show this evening. To every single individual, group, large, small, local, regional, statewide, nationwide, worldwide, that allows us to share our program onto your corner of the Facebook universe. We say thank you very, very much. We could not do it without you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you very, very much. We are live right now on our home group Facebook page, of course, for all things that surround our program, is the Kennedy Effect on Facebook. It's the easiest way to find us on Facebook. That's our group, our home group page, the Kennedy Effect on Facebook. The Kennedy Effect on Facebook, not the, by the way, either. The Kennedy Effect on Facebook. Easiest way to find us, without question. Easiest way to find us on Facebook. And of course, when we're not here with you live on the air, the program continues, so to speak, right there on Facebook. The articles that we talk about, the topics that we talk about, the issues that we think are important to you, that are important to the program, that are important to our nation, are right there. The Kennedy Effect on Facebook. If you are not a member, please become one. You are welcome. You are invited. And maybe I should have said you're invited before I said you're welcome, but you get my point. Pretty sure you get my point. That said, we are live right now, not just on one, but two YouTube channels, because one's not enough to contain us. We are live right now on the YouTube channel of GCP, our Ghost Claw Productions Radio, Ghost Claw Productions Radio, and we are live on our home YouTube channel for this program alone, the Kennedy Effect on YouTube. Very, very simple. We are live both places right now. You can find us and comment at either place. The Kennedy Effect on YouTube and GCPR. The audio of the program, of course, blasts around the globe via hot101.net. Our name is our web address, but you don't need the web to listen. You listen, first off, you listen 100% for free. 100% for free. Free. At hot101.net. The best price of all, none. You listen for free at hot101.net. Our name is our web address, but you don't need the web to listen. You can go to our main website and listen there, of course, hot101.net. You can also go to our website, go to our apps, Apple App Store for Apple devices, Google Play Store for Android devices, and for all other types of devices, the TuneIn Radio app. Go up to the search bar, type in hot101.net, and you are listening, again, 100% for free. I seem to have gotten one of my cords all messed up here. There we go. Rolled my chair right over an important cord. Not very good. And we are live, of course, at GCPR.live. Go to our website, learn everything you ever wanted to know about the station and more. GCPR.live. Don't forget, after us, coming up at around 8:30, 8:45 is the pre-show for the Villain's View. Villain's View goes live in full throttle from 9 p.m. And Thomas starts your broadcast work week tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee. Oh, and of course, how could I ever forget? It would be rude of me to forget, and I shouldn't. From 11 p.m. tonight, T. Nathan, Conversations with T. Nathan. I'm screwing up the schedule all over the place. Why am I doing such things? I have no idea. I'm not sure why I'm doing these things. But we are Remember, GCPR Live, where all voices matter, especially yours. Where every voice matters, especially yours. Hot101.net and GCPR.live. Welcome to the program. It's so good to see all of you again from a warm, spring-like Lehigh Valley today. Started off gray, sun came out, it got warm, and now it's getting gray again. I believe there's storms heading our way. I should warn you that I believe some of the storms that are headed our way are pretty heavy duty. There is a chance that the internet will get knocked out. It is supposed to rain, but there's also some yellow and red and on the radar of thunderstorms coming this way. If they're bad enough, they will knock us off. It just is what it is. Obviously, I'm not hoping for that. It's not part of the plan necessarily, but we have to be prepared one way or another. Please know that the phone line is open, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189 is the place to call and be part of the program. Your comments, read the crawl on the bottom because it's true. It's how this program operates. Your comments and questions are not only welcomed, but encouraged. We'd like you to be part of the program. You can determine how the program plays itself out. If there's something that you want to talk about, if there's a question that you want to ask me, I'm actually one of the very ironic things about me as a host is that I seem to be better when people are interviewing me, asking me questions than I seem to be on my own. I think I'm pretty good at interviewing other people. I'm very good at being interviewed, but it seems to be a time like this where we're kind of in between. There's no guests. It's just up to me to talk to you, where sometimes it gets a little boring. Sometimes it gets a little dry. Well, you can spice it back up. You can listen to us and be part of this program. And be part of this program. You know, we want you to be part of the program. It's really that simple. We'd like you to be part of the program. So go ahead and do that. Part of the program. Now, I had a couple people tell me that they couldn't hear me on Facebook. I just tested that and I can hear. So thank you for telling me. I do appreciate that a lot. But it would appear that I can hear everything on Facebook, so you should be able to hear there. And by the way, if you don't like Facebook or you're not a fan of it, then you don't have to watch and listen there. That's why there's YouTube. That's why there's Twitch. We're live right now on the GCPR Twitch right now. So there's always a place to find us. What I wanted to talk about tonight to start, well, let me first say hello to Annabelle and Donna and come on, mouse. Say hello to Donna, Annabelle, and there we go. And Shaft and Harley and everybody who's with us. If I see you pop in, I'll give you a hello, a very hearty, dare I say, hello as well. George not with us quite yet. I'm expecting him in here at some point. He just isn't here quite yet. One of the things I wanted to talk about, though, is as we enter the fourth week of this war at $1 billion a day, what else could we do with the money that we're spending on this war? The Department of Defense is going to be going to Congress asking for $200 billion more to spend on this war. What could we do with the money that we've already spent? About $1 million a minute, by the way. $1 million a minute. Over $1 billion a day as we enter week 4. Now, you know, it still says on the screen $1 billion a day from the last time I did the program because I'm a goof and I don't know how to get that off the screen. That was not our headline for today, but but it's still there and I don't remember how to take it down. I'm not an expert at the StreamYards. What can I say? Taz, God bless her, has offered to do a StreamYard 101 for everybody at the station, and we're going to need it. I do like this new service. I like the way it looks. We've gotten very good reaction from it, about it. But it's nice. Let's just put it that way. It's nice. It's working nice. I love it. And I mean, it should be for what we're paying for it. But I'm just glad that it's working. So what I wanted to talk about to start the program is what could we do with all of that extra money? Not just what we've already spent, but the $200 billion that have been asked for by the Defense Department to prosecute this war. First off, and very simply, let's be very clear. This is war. It is war. It's not an incursion. It's not an excursion. It's not an expeditionary force. It's not a police action. It's not sanctioned by the United Nations. It's not backed by NATO. It is a war. 100%. And there's no other way to look at it. It doesn't matter what anyone else tells you. It doesn't matter what they try to tell you. House Speaker Mike Johnson tying himself in knots to call this thing anything other than a war because he doesn't want to have to take a vote to approve it. Because he knows that vote will go down. Congress will not approve, even with Republican majority as slim as it is. A declaration of war will not pass. So therefore, the more he can not call this a war, the more he believes or is trying to, from a purely political point of view, keep this vote out of Congress so that a vote doesn't have to take place, so that this administration doesn't have to lose said vote. And when I was sitting down, you know, I ruminate all week in my own head. I'm crazy too. That's what that symbol was. That's true. But I do run in my head all week as I watch the news and as I read the news, as poor a reader as I am. What do I want to talk about on Sunday? And yes, I still think the Epstein files are a story. I believe this administration's attempt to completely cover them up, to spare this president what he is guilty of, is still a story. I believe that's what's happening at the Department of Health and Human Services with vaccines and vaccine schedule and vaccine denial is still a big story. Measles continues to spread throughout this country, as well as other diseases, because this anti-vax movement has taken hold. It has real traction. That's a real story. Gas prices as a result of this war are a real story. The fact that a draft is being thought about and kicked around in Congress, as well as Cuba being our next target for imperialist conquering, that's a story. It's a proper story. But it's hard, I think, to talk about much else when you're at war. Now, I know that Iran is the 9th country that this administration has taken military action in since 2.0 began. And 9th, I say, because Iran twice. Some will say 8 countries. I'm going to go 9 because Iran's come up twice. But this one is full out, full-scale war. The only thing missing thus far are the troops on the ground. And those seem like they're coming. 5,000 more Marines have just been redeployed. Were redeployed this week into the Gulf, into the Persian Gulf, into the Iran theater of war. And this is war on Iran. It isn't really war with them. They didn't start it. It's war on them. And there are other stories to talk about. Make no mistake. In a regime that is trying to beat you up day after day with the daily outrage and the thing that you should be upset about and the thing that they're trying to make you upset about, these are real. These are real things. But when you're in a full-scale, full-out, full-tilt war, I do think it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult to talk about just almost anything else. And so that's why I decided again this particular Sunday to talk to you about war. And not just the prosecution of the war itself, but all of the ancillaries that seem to be coming off as part of this big tree. Not just the trunk of the tree, which is the war itself, but all of these different branches that seem to be branching off of our actions. The fact that we are burning through munitions. And no, not because we gave munitions to Ukraine. We gave old munitions to Ukraine, not ones that we're missing now. We gave them old ones that were set to expire before they expired. And we could talk probably for 3 hours on just the damage, or not the damage, really, but the way that this war has affected us with Russia. We could probably talk for 3 hours just about that. And I am going to guess that's not me. Doesn't say who's on the air. Caller, go ahead. Where are you calling from?
Hey, I was going to call in and check in on my favorite person.
If I'm your favorite person, your list is way too short. You need
Okay.
You need a longer list.
Well, Thomas will have to be number 1. Has to be number 2.
Okay.
But you say the best for last.
You need a bigger list. I agree with your first 2 choices, by the way. I completely agree with your first 2 choices. Your number 3 is a little sketchy.
Well, I've just finished listening to Angry, and that was a nice storytelling that he had. So I'm kind of addicted to the show.
Good. We want you to be addicted to the whole station, to be honest.
I kind of am.
Well,
I don't
good.
listen to regular TV no more.
Good. You're not missing much.
I noticed that. It's like I check the weather online, and then the rest of the time I'm going through your programming, doing stuff. It's like I don't need the TV no more. But anyway, speaking of war,
Okay,
have
go ahead.
you seen Have you seen the pictures of Tel Aviv? It looks like, Palestine.
Okay.
Iran has flattened them. And they're coming back saying, we had no idea they had that kind of capabilities. I'm not kidding. They've been waiting for us to do something stupid like this. They've been waiting for us because oh my God. We think,
Well, remember what Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said in a video shot in Jerusalem with the Dome of the Rock behind him and the Temple Mount. He's wanted this war for 40 years. 40 years. He wanted this war. And he was too afraid to do it by himself. He always wanted the United States to take part in it. And past presidents,
found someone stupid enough.
He found the one who was gullible enough. Absolutely
Yeah.
correct. Even George W. Bush would not take part. 40 years he
And
wanted this.
For the past 50 years, I've been 2 weeks away from a missile. 2 weeks away. They've been sitting on that bugger. They have not fired it, not one time, until they were attacked. It's like if you don't mess with your neighbors, guess what? Your neighbors not going to mess with you. Oh, God.
How much is gas by? How much is gas by you?
Almost $4 a gallon over here.
Yeah. And it's not done
Almost
yet.
$4 a gallon. And my estimations, because I'm kind of good with numbers, that if we hit the $200 mark per barrel,
Per barrel.
that's going to, once we hit 200 or more, that's going to equate between $8 to $10 a gallon, depending on where you live. So you're going to have to decide, do you buy groceries or do you buy gas? It's going to get to that point. I see it. If it just keeps up, we will get to the point. Everything's going to have to go for gas. Just essentials that you need and gasoline. And that's going to drive the economy down. That's what drives the economy down, because our economy is based on consumerism. If we are not consuming, the system cannot function. So once you throw a tire iron in there, you're going to get... I see this going like it was in the 70s, that there was like... not stagflation. What am I looking at? That it got Carter. That's why Carter lost the election, because it wasn't just inflation, but there was no weren't.
There was no growth.
Yes.
It was a stagflation. It was also the constant holding, price fixing and holding back from the OPEC nations.
Yes, OPEC.
As well as
OPEC
let's not forget the Iranian hostage crisis, the that went on for 744 days.
Right.
And the deal that the Reagan campaign struck with the Iranians to keep the hostages until after the election so that they could use it as an election tool against President Carter. Let's not forget that either.
They held it. He was gonna get the hostages released in the summer of '81, which would have sealed the election for Carter. But because Reagan sent one of his henchmen over there and started screwing with everything, it's like, hey, hold them for another 3 months and everything be hunky-dory. Oh, then they got the dates confused. They were supposed to announce it on January, I think, 21st or 22nd. but they announced it on January 20th.
On Inauguration Day.
On Inauguration Day, they got their dates mixed up. That's the only reason why we know this. Yeah, but if they would have got their dates right, we would have never known this.
Well, we also know it. We also know it from the gentleman who was the president of Iran at that point. It was President Bani Sadr, the secular leader of Iran at that time in 1980. He was a reformer, actually. He didn't want a theocratical state. He wanted a secular state. He wanted a separation between church and state. He wanted the government of Iran to be a political government and the church to be the church to be church. He came out in an article in the Christian Science Monitor. It's a newspaper we don't talk about much anymore. The Christian Science Monitor, and told the entire story about how the Reagan campaign came to Iran and told the clerics and the students that were holding the hostages, just hold on to them until after the election. We will give you money. We will give you spare parts for your fighter jets. We'll let you we'll let you sell oil, all of that stuff, just to keep the hostages so that it would weigh against President Carter in the election. It was the actual president of Iran who told that story. And I believe he has since passed, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, $4 a gallon is probably not where it's going to stop. But let's remember, in a time before this war, if you really take into account the $500+ billion per year in tax breaks and incentives that are given, free government money basically, that's given to the oil industry, gas should only be about $1.50 a gallon to start with. And notice how the price started going up the day the war started. I'm pretty sure the gas, price gouging. I'm pretty damn sure the gas that was in the tanks at your local gas station was already bought and paid for.
Yeah.
But they raised the prices anyway. It's exactly what you said it is. It's price gouging. There's no doubt about it. And there's no other way to look at it.
Because it takes, I used to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I used to live literally on Route 66. I had a cute little bungalow. It was so adorable. They tore the whole place down. It was just aged out, and there was no way to bring everything up to code. Anyway, down the road, about a mile or so, there was an oil refinery. That's how close I lived to one of those things. Anyway, it would take about, depending on what they were producing, between 4 to 6 months to produce usable gasoline. They would get it in on the train as crude, or however they got the delivery. I don't know. I wasn't there to check on it. Right. But they would get the crude in, and it would take them several months to refine the raw oil into gasoline, jet fuel, petroleum for your baby's blood. Oh, I shouldn't have done that one. Anyway, I need to pay attention. I'm trying to make coffee while I'm talking with you, and I think I just put too many sugars in there.
Well, you're going to be awake, that's for sure.
Oh, God, I'll be hanging off the walls now.
Well, it'll be easy for you to stay awake through the Villain's View then. No worries.
Oh, I can't wait. After here, I'm going to take a shower, get another cup of coffee, and settle in with the Villain's View.
Sounds good, Annabelle.
Fabulous.
Sounds like
a whole night. That's my night plan.
Sounds like a night.
Oh my God, yes. I figured out the greatest rebellion that we could do against the GOP is actually to find happiness. If you could find something that makes you happy and be happy, that is going to rub everyone the wrong way, because the point is, everything that the GOP, Republican Party, all the points are, is misery. They want to make us unhappy, downtrodden, miserable, because when you're miserable, you just shut up, you go to work, you go through the mundane, everyday, the routine, and you don't complain about things. But if you're happy and you take care of yourself, then you look around and says, oh, you're full of poo, and this ain't right, and we need to change it.
Right.
Changing things.
And what is the easiest way to change things? It's still your vote.
Yes,
It's still your vote.
I figured out something else we could do. And I was looking at TikTokers. I do not have TikTok. I deleted it. It was the best thing I could do. I looked at how TikTokers and Instagram kids, and I say kids because they're in their 20s.
Right.
And teens.
Yes.
But when their influencers do something that makes them angry, they don't go after the influencer. I don't go after you, Jeff Kennedy. I go after your sponsors, your contractors, people you have business deals with, and I tell them what you've done, and then I tell them, if this is what you are supporting, then I'm going to let people know what you support, and I'm going to withdraw my business from you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you get 1 million, 2 million people calling into a famous soda company, they're going to take that contract away from you. They're not going to do business with you. That's going to hurt your pocket, and that's going to get your attention. So
you would hope so.
My thoughts are, find out who's giving money to each individual campaign, and then call their donors. And it's like, if this is what you believe in, I do not trust you. I do not believe in your product anymore. And I will not buy it, and I will encourage my friends and family not to buy it. If I do this alone, it will not affect. If I do this and you do this, it will not affect. But if everyone that can hear my voice, which I'm sure there's a lot of people,
mm-hmm.
and we all call the sponsors of these politicians,
right.
The sponsors, the donors, the whatevers. We're not going to buy your product if you continue this mess. Because it's no longer, since it was Citizens United, it's no longer about the politicians. It's about the money that goes to the politicians. So we got to attack their money. We got to call their sponsors, their donors. Anywhere that they get money from, if we do not agree with what's going on, and let it be heard also, don't buy the products.
Right.
Literally find other things as substitute. I think there's a website you could find for independent products if you don't want to support the machine.
Right.
But, if you want to stop the nonsense, stop the money, mess with the money. That'll stop it real quick.
Too many Americans believe that the only time that they get to have their voices heard is at the ballot box. And I think they're wrong. Now,
Absolutely.
it is dreadfully important to vote. If your vote was so unimportant, they wouldn't try to take it from you. Your vote is important. There are way more of us than there are the 1%, or the 1/100th of 1% that's hoarding all the money. The morbidly rich. Morbid because they're killing other people. The morbidly rich. There's way more of us than them. That's why they want to take your vote.
Well,
here in Pennsylvania, we get to vote twice a year, every year. You have primaries and a general election every single year. Every year. But every single day, you get a chance to vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
What type of restaurants am I going to go to? Am I going to go to big chains, or am I going to go to single proprietorship, family run businesses? Where am I going to take my dry cleaning? What grocery store am I going to go to if I have a choice? I realize not everybody has a choice. If I have a choice between grocery stores, which one am I going to go to? We're very lucky here in the Lehigh Valley. We've probably got 24 or so that I could drive to and get my groceries. Where do I buy my gas? We make these economic decisions every single day. And Annabelle is 100% correct. We can speak, we can vote with our wallets every day.
365 votes.
Every single day. Multiple, and sometimes multiple times a day.
Absolutely.
Especially if you are doing bulk shopping, like your weekly groceries or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where every single item that you pick off the shelf is a decision. Every single one of them is a decision. I'm not going to buy this mass-produced widget. I'm going to get the organic one, even if I have to buy it, even if I have to pay a little bit more. I'm taking the organic one. I'm going to go to the local farm stand and buy from the local farmer instead of. I'm going to go to we're very lucky here. We have an apple orchard literally down the road from us.
Oh.
We can go buy at the apple orchard. We can get apples and cider and pies, and, home baked goods and things like that. We can do treats. I got to be honest with you, treats, sweet treats, because I got a sweet tooth. I got a terrible sweet tooth. But we can get these things locally instead of the mass produced, chemical laden, wax covered apples out of the bin. These are decisions that we can make every single day. Economic decisions that we can make every day. And they're just like
very easy.
And they're just like voting. And look, I understand it. Maybe you can't always afford to pay the extra $1, $2 per item for the organic item. I get it. But there's always a place to make a choice. Where you get your haircut. I mean,
even
where you buy your clothes.
Even if you buy your fruits at the supermarket. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Even if you buy your fruits and vegetables at the supermarket, did you know that you could cut the celery stalk 2 to 3 inches from the root, put that stalk in some dirt, the root part in the dirt, and you will get brand new celery growing up from the middle. And then you could just pick off the stalks as you need them. It was a whole new root system. They have a very shallow root system.
That's an economic decision that can be made too. It is to grow your own. It's actually very healthy. It's not just healthy for you from the food that you produce. I think it's healthy as a hobby. I think it's a very healthy hobby. Give yourself something to do. Be out in nature a little bit and grow your own if you can. Now, we happen to live in a condo complex. We can't do that here, but if you have
I know that you could grow in your windowsill.
Herbs.
In the windowsill gardening.
Yep.
You could grow green onions. You could grow garlic. You can grow beans.
Mm-hmm.
Beans don't have a deep root system, but look into vegetables that do not have a deep root system. If you grow leaf lettuce does not have a deep root system. You could grow that in the house. I mean, even some cherry tomato varieties.
Right.
You could grow it in a pot.
Correct.
Now, are you in the first or second floor?
We're on the second floor. So
You have a
we can put,
balcony?
yep, we have a balcony that we can grow on. Yep.
You put out some, oh my God, you got gardening area.
We do.
You could put out herb garden,
Yep.
Get
Arrow garden.
strawberry flower pot. And instead of planting strawberries in the little nooks and crannies, plant herbs. That's going to be your herb garden. And then,
Right.
You could get a grow bag and put potato in there. When the potato starts shooting out eyes, just put it in the ground.
Yep,
the
and then it grows. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can
We're
grow
getting,
your own food.
no pun intended. We're getting a little bit into the weeds here, but yeah, the greater point is, the larger point,
This
the more
war,
more umbrella
this
point
war
is that
is going to make everything go sky high. We need to start taking care of ourselves.
correct. Yes, because everything's got to move. It's got to move by rail, which runs on diesel fuel. Diesel fuel is now
Mhm.
$5 here in the Lehigh Valley. It is $5.25 a gallon. Trucks run on diesel,
Oh, God.
$5.25 a gallon.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not done
I
yet.
don't know.
It keeps going up. It's going higher and higher.
I don't know if I'm allowed. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention another channel.
Well, they have money. I'm kidding.
Then, I listened to another channel, and the person's a truck driver, and he said that it cost him like $800 to fill up both of his tanks
Yeah.
because he runs on 2 tanks.
Right. Yeah.
That's $400 a tank.
Yeah.
That
And he's
cost
passing
of-
that, and that cost is going to get passed on to you at the end of the day. When
Oh,
when
yeah,
when the goods
absolutely.
when the goods that this gentleman is carrying get to where they eventually are going to end up, we have to pay for that.
Yes.
So
I see in the chat that pineapples regrow only in certain zones. If you're in the Florida, Georgia, Texas, California area, yes, you could grow your own pineapple. It takes up to 6 years to mature. So that's an investment of time. Where I live at, that would be impossible. I cannot grow avocados of peaches, pineapple, because it needs warm weather for that.
right.
I'm sorry, I veered off course again.
All right. Well, thank you, Annabelle. I appreciate the fact that you called. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, I appreciate you too. Thank you, and have a great show. We're here listening.
Thank you so much.
Can you hang up? My phone went black.
I can. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
I wanted to address a question in the comments because I do encourage them as much as I do. I can't ignore them. That would be pretty hypocritical. Bonnie on the YouTube chat asks, when did this country become so callous that we allow child molesters to sit in the Oval Office? Now, I don't think we have become that callous of a country. But like always, follow the money. The thing about the Epstein files is that some of the people implicated are among the richest and most powerful on the planet, not just in this country, but from other countries as well. Covering up those files, trying to bury them, discredit them, is a way that the rich are trying to protect themselves. scores, if not hundreds, of people realize just how deep Trump is into the Epstein files. They know what he did because they were doing it too. They don't care about what he did because they were doing it too. And he gave them trillions of dollars in tax cuts. That's what they care about. They don't care about the girls whose youth they stole. They care that they got protected and that they continue to get protected and that they get tax cuts at the expense of the rest of us. And by the way, if you think that you got a tax cut in the big, beautiful bill, think again. Kristen and I got our taxes done this week, and we realized even though we do this for a living, even though we are in politics day in and day out, we realized just how bad the big, beautiful bill screwed us on our taxes. I'm not going to get into the details because the details of my taxes, to be very honest with you, is none of my business. It's none of your business. But know that we paid more. The way deductions were lumped together into this giant pot instead of being able to be itemized, we paid more in taxes this last year than we did the year before. We paid more after the big, beautiful bill than before it. And so will you. And if you haven't gotten your taxes done yet, then you're in for a surprise. So I don't think we've become callous as a country toward pedophiles. I don't think we've become callous as a country toward child trafficking. I really don't. I don't think we've become that. But what I do think is that follow the money. You gotta follow the money. Elon Musk is in the Epstein files. He knows what Trump did. He very well may have been doing it himself. But he doesn't care because he got a tax cut. For him and his business is literally worth trillions of dollars. At a minimum, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. That's what he cares about. He doesn't care that Trump loves young girls. He doesn't care that Epstein loved young girls. He got a tax cut. That's what he wanted. That's what he cared about. So, Lizette in the chat has it right. Who are the real welfare queens? The ones that the former political party known as Republicans would have you hate, or the real welfare queens? The billionaires. Randall mentions he paid more in taxes this year. Jess is mentioning that she's getting her taxes done tomorrow. Get ready, folks. If you didn't do them yet, and I can understand why you wouldn't, but if you didn't do them yet, get ready. Get ready. Because it's going to be more than you think. You did not get a tax break in the big, beautiful bill. You did not. The only ones who got a tax break were the top 1%. Everybody else will pay more. The greatest transfer of wealth in the history of in all of human history was the big, beautiful bill. It started with Reagan. Clinton did not do enough to stop it. It got worse under W. Bush. Obama did not do enough to stop it. And now Trump. I don't always buy it when people just default, just, automatically say Democrats aren't doing enough. I don't always buy that. I think they're right on occasion, but I think that's entirely too simple of an excuse. But when it comes to undoing the Reagan tax system, we haven't done enough. We simply have not. We had power and we didn't use it. We had control of Congress and we didn't use it. And here we are. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189 is the phone number. Annabelle was brave enough to call. You can be a caller as well. It doesn't have to be Annabelle, Randall, and Mike every week. You can be a caller into the program. You can completely adjust the course that this program takes. If there's something that you want to talk about, something that you want to ask me about, then ask. Q&A. It's right on the screen. Your comments are right on the screen. I do like this new service. I do. It's very nice. I think tell me what you think of the new service. By the way, tell me what you think of how the program looks to you. I wanted to get back to the $1 billion a day, the 30+ billion that's been spent already on this war, and the fact that the Defense Department is looking for another $200 billion. What could we do with that money? Well, the cost to restore all of the ACA tax credits is about $30 billion. What we've spent on this war. Every child in the country could get a higher education, a college education, for $30 billion. We don't have the spending problem in this country that the Republicans would have you believe. We don't have the spending problem that they would have you believe. We have a prioritization and a revenue problem. What we choose to spend our money on is the problem that we have, that we would rather waste $30 billion on a war of choice than give people health care or food or home heating oil benefits. Put that $30 billion back into Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education. So when Republicans say that we have a spending problem, they're right. But it's not the spending problem that they would have you think, that we spend too much money on this or too much money on that or too much money on that. It's what we choose to spend our money on. What we really have is a revenue problem. What does that mean? The richest people in the country are not paying enough. We need to go back to the tax rates from the New Deal. 91% top marginal tax rate. 91%. We need to go back to that. Even Bernie Sanders was only talking about a 50% top marginal tax rate. The top marginal tax rate when Eisenhower was president was 91%. In today's dollars, what that means is that every dollar that you earned over 4 million was taxed at 91%. That's today's dollars. It was less back then. But a 91% tax rate in modern dollars, so every dollar that you earn over 4 million gets taxed at 91%. We wouldn't have billionaires. Do we really need billionaires? And I know that this particular opinion of mine is not always the most well received. I don't have a problem with Steve Jobs becoming a billionaire when he was alive. He created technologies that we never knew we needed. He helped connect the entire planet to each other. I have more computing power in this iPhone than was in the entire space shuttle fleet. He created technologies. I'm coming to you from an Apple computer. He created technologies we never knew we needed. He deserved to make the money he made. But he didn't get to buy the system. That's the difference. He doesn't get to buy the system. Well, didn't. He's passed, but you get my point. He didn't get to buy off the system. Donna says something here as well. If they would help people, that would be great, but they hoard all that money. I think they can take it with them when they die. It is a psychopathy. Actually, let me leave that comment up there for a second. It is a psychopathy. They think they can hoard. It's a hoarding syndrome. Just like the woman who has 200 cats, or the man who never threw away a copy of Life magazine, and they're bundled and they line his hallways and every wall in his house. It's a hoarding complex. It's a psychopathy. It's psychopathic. That being worth $500 billion is somehow not enough. We have to get more and more and more and more. When is enough enough? Randall says we absolutely need to go back to the New Deal progressive tax rates. We absolutely do. The scales need to be rebalanced. And raising taxes on the top 1% by percent here, 1.5% there, 1.5% there, it's not enough. I believe the top marginal tax rate now is 38.5%. I think. I probably have that wrong. Somebody will Google it and will know. But it should be 50%, 60, 75. I would go for 91. We don't have a spending problem. We have a spending problem about what we prioritize to spend money on. We have a revenue problem. Our bigger problem when it comes to money into the government is revenue, not spending. It's revenue. Then it's the priorities that we spend money on. That's the problem. 7:03, we've entered the second hour of the program. This is the Kennedy Effect live with you for the 22nd of March, 2026. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of hot101.net, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, Ghost Claw Productions, and our home group Facebook page, The Kennedy Effect on Facebook. We've shared the program to over 100 different places across the Facebook universe, and if you are one of the places that allowed us to be part of your corner of Facebook, then thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We could not do it without you. Thank you so very, very much. We are live right now on 2 YouTube channels, The Kennedy Effect on YouTube and the YouTube channel of GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. The best place to catch up on programming at GCPR is the YouTube channel. Right after it's over, it's there in a recorded fashion. Very, very easy for you to see, to scroll through the library and watch if you missed anything. Very, very simple. Really, really, really easy. And of course, the radio side, we are live at hot101.net. Our name is our web address, Apple App Store, Google Play Store for Android devices, and the TuneIn Radio app. You can, of course, tell Alexa to play hot101.net. GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio.live, GCPR.live. Following us, Villains View easy for me to say. Whoa. Or not so much, as it would turn out. Villains View pre-show from 8:30, 8:45-ish. Full Throttle Live from 9 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. Thomas kicks off your broadcast work week tomorrow from 8 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee. Mike asks, how will you make the people who protect and are bought by billionaires change the tax code? 100% correct. That's where Citizens United has to be overturned, and you can do that, by the way, by Move to Amend. Go to movetoamend.org. It's www.move, M-O-V-E-T-O, amend, M-A-M-E-N-D.org. Sign the petition there that removes Citizens United. Move to amend the Constitution so that money is not speech and corporations are not people. And right along with that, Randall says, the problem is Citizens United gives the 1% the power to bribe. It legalized bribery is really what it did. It legalized bribery. Government bribery. Or bribery of government officials. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. Running out of air. Phone line is open. 267-227-9189. Let's get to some news. Trump's changing course on Strait of Hormuz strategy raises questions about U.S. war preparation. This is written by Colin Binkley of the Associated Press. It was updated today. Dateline, West Palm Beach, Florida, because, of course, Trump is on vacation again. He's on yet another vacation. At war with Iran, President Donald Trump is cycling through an increasingly desperate list of options as he searches for a solution to the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. He's jumping from calls to secure the waterway through diplomatic means to lifting sanctions and now escalating to a direct threat against civilian infrastructure in the Islamic Republic. Trump and his allies insist they were always prepared for Iran to block the strait. Really? It doesn't seem that way. Doesn't exactly seem that way. Yet the Republican president's erratic strategy has fueled criticism that he is grasping for answers after going to war without a clear exit plan. On Saturday came his latest attempt via an ultimatum to Iran: open the strait within 48 hours, the United States would obliterate the country's power plants. We like to obliterate things. It is so much easier to destroy than to build. That's what USAID did. They built things. So, of course, we had to shut them down. But we can spend over $1 billion a day fighting this war. Trump's aides defended the threat as a hard-edged tactic to press Iran into submission. Opponents framed it as the failings of a president who miscalculated what it would take to get out of a geopolitical quagmire. Quote, Trump has no plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, so he is threatening to attack Iran's civilian power plants, unquote, said Senator Edward Markey, Democrat of Massachusetts, adding, quote, this would be a war crime. Quote, he's lost control of the war and he is panicking, said Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat of Connecticut, responding to Trump's post. Over the course of roughly a week, Trump has repeatedly shifted his approach on the crucial waterway for global oil and gas transport. There is growing urgency for Trump as soaring oil prices rattle global markets and pinch American consumers months before pivotal midterm elections. Iran, of course, threatened then to completely close the Strait of Hormuz and hit power plants in Gulf states after Trump's ultimatum. Here's one that should worry you. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189 is the phone number. 267-227-9189. Enhanced role for immigration officers at U.S. airports as shutdown frustrates travels and screeners. This is written by Sungmin Kim and Lisa Mascaro of the Associated Press, dated today. Dateline. Oh, let me do that. Hold on one second. And I'm going to say it's either Mike or Randall, so go ahead.
It's Randall.
How are you, sir? How you feeling?
My wife? Tired. you know that feeling.
Yeah, I do. I'm always tired. I'm always tired.
So I'm going to assume you got enough signatures to get on the primary for state committee.
Yes, actually, I did. Thank you. I did. I am on the ballot in ballot position number 3.
That's a good place to be.
That is a good place to be.
The only thing that beats that is 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I officially am not running 51 years as local Democratic committee person. I can't physically do it anymore. So I did not get 10 signatures to get on the ballot for the primary.
That's all right. We'll write you in.
Yeah, maybe some people will. I don't know. I'll have to see. Any case, so much happens. I mean, it's so much happens. It's just total almost sensory overload.
Yep.
Every day.
By design, by the way. By design.
Oh, by design, absolutely.
Right.
You know,
right.
the the Epstein files have been put on a side burner, and that's one of the reasons I know he started the war, this wasteful war. I just want to, in relation to what you mentioned, let's also remember, folks, that 30% of all the world's fertilizer
Right.
comes out of the Gulf and through the
Comes
Strait
through the
of
Strait.
Hormuz.
Yep. Come through the Strait. 30% of all the fertilizer, 20% of all the oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. Absolutely. You are correct, sir.
And the natural gas that should be stockpiled by Europe to get through another brutal winter, that's not going to happen. And Trump can declare victory again, and there's no way Iran is going to quit what they are doing. There's no way, and the infrastructure on the Gulf states, refineries, pipelines, et cetera. They could, the oil could start flowing tomorrow around the world. It's not going to make any difference. You're talking 2 or 3 years to rebuild all the infrastructure for oil and gas, natural gas industries, right?
Yeah, I mean the refinery in Qatar that was hit, the estimates to completely rebuild that are 3 to 5 years.
Bingo.
And fix that damage. Right. Plus, we also know gas shot up on the first day of this war and continues to climb. If this war ends tomorrow, are the prices going to fall that quickly? Of course not. Absolutely not. We know that. They're never going to return probably to where they were. We'll be lucky if we get down into the low threes, I think, and we'll consider ourselves lucky because it's not $5 anymore. But this is how this happens. During the second Gulf War, during the illegal invasion of Iraq, gas prices shot up. And yes, after that war was over, they did slowly come back down, but they never returned to where they were before. And it's not going to.
No.
We'll consider ourselves lucky because instead of $5, we're paying $3.25. Except that when this war started, it was $2.75. So we're still going to lose 50 cents or 60 cents. Mike's got a funny one in the chat. Trump, $20.28 per gallon. 2028. That's a clever one. Very good, Mike. That's a clever one. What else you got on your mind, sir? What else is on your mind?
People just don't understand. Most people, they don't understand farmers. I mean, farmers in this country, I'm talking family-owned farms, which are less and less percentage every year. And more corporate farms, they buy up the bankrupt family farms.
Yep.
And then in corporate America, it controls the total food supply. If that happens, but the farmers got the double whammy.
Mm-hmm.
The tariff, number one, cut off people buying corn, people buying wheat, and especially people around the world buying soybeans. And so, because of the tariffs. Mm-hmm. And now you've got the triple whammy. It's spring planting. Diesel fuel, tractors run on diesel.
Yep.
They might not be taxed. You know, they might not have the price of road taxes on it, but it's the same price as diesel out of the pump. Just, you know, doesn't have the color on it to prove it was taxed, you know, for road. But and then the third whammy is there's 30% of all the fertilizer for the world comes through the strait.
Yep.
And fertilizer is going like crazy in price.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means
Doubled, I believe.
The poorest people on this planet, which, you know, is actually billions of people, there's going to be total food insecurity and massive famine because, again, our modern miracle to be able to feed these billions and billions and billions of people on this planet, it all depends on fertilizer. And you know, coming from a background where both my parents grew up in homesteads, where my grandfather Sampson lost his hi kids. Kids are saying hi, Mr. Randall. For a minute onto the deck. Now I lost my train of thought. But anyway,
You were on fertilizer.
Yeah, I know. My grandfather Sampson, he lost his homestead in Springfield, Missouri. Well, outside of Springfield, Missouri, for bank foreclosure during the Great Depression,
Right.
Republican Depression. And my father, that was the fall of my father's senior year, to get his Bachelor of Science in Animal Husbandry from the University of Missouri. And he took his tuition money for the spring, since my grandfather lost the farm, because that was the whole point. He went to college to gain knowledge on how to improve farming, how to improve livestock raising, etc. He took his money with his buddies to California for winter break. And then he came back, he went to the dean, academic dean, says, I need a loan to finish up. And the academic dean told him, says, there is no money to loan. It's the depression.
Right.
And my father says, that's okay. I'm going to go over here to Wichita, Kansas, to where some upper class are working on airplanes. And so he went to work for, I think it's Sterling Aircraft Company, which Boeing eventually bought. And of course, that's where the B-17 short-range bombers for World War II and the B-29 long-range bombers for World War II and the B-52s, they're still in operation.
Yes, they are.
And then the youngest B-52 frame, you know, they replaced electronics and avionics and stuff, but the actual frame, the youngest B-52 on this planet rolled off the assembly line in Wichita, Kansas on the last day of December 1962. And and here we are.
They're using them in Iran.
Of course.
Yeah. What else you got on your mind, sir? Give you one more.
Excuse me. Give you one more. Um, um, the whole facade of Trump saying they're going to have a nuke in a couple of weeks. No, that's impossible. It would never happen. Now, could they have equipped a missile with just a dirty bomb? Just radiation, frag spread over Tel Aviv or something? Yeah, they could have done that. They were in negotiation, we were in negotiation, and the United Kingdom was there, and an Iranian, and they made some major concessions on their part. But what happens? The dementia that runs the White House said, screw it. We're going to war.
None of this happens if Trump had not scrapped Obama's nuclear deal during his first term. None of this is happening.
No, because there's inspections.
Yep.
There's inspections by the UN, Atomic Energy Commission.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to do anything to destroy anything that has Obama's name on it.
Correct.
Whether it's the Affordable Care Act or whatever.
Yep.
He is such a narcissist that I'm surprised he hasn't put an executive order out to rename the White House the Trump White House.
Well, there's time.
Oh, I know there's time.
There's still time.
Yep. Anyway,
All
we're
right,
in for a hard time.
Yeah, we are.
But very hard economic times. And my wife and I are struggling here really bad. And we tighten our belt up totally. I'm just glad it's warmed up a little. That we're going in spring, early spring, because I got the home heating oil furnace shut down.
Yeah, smart.
Because and I filled up her tank just 2 weeks before the war started. Because if I waited till next fall to get home to fill up the home heating oil tank, God knows what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Home heating oil is the same thing as diesel, exact same product.
Yep.
You have a big filter in your diesel engine. You got a big filter in your home heating oil furnace, and 85% of all the home heating oil furnaces in this country are in the Appalachian Mountain chain and in the Mid-Atlantic and the New England. Most of the rest of the country is either on electricity or on natural gas.
Right.
So we have a big burden. The fuel subsidies that the big beautiful bill killed,
right,
for poor Americans, they're just going to be devastated by next winter.
Right.
And everything. Anyway, How service has been at your church?
They're always well attended. We were at church today. Welcomed 6 new members into the congregation. The congregation continues to grow. I think, at least locally, I know it bucks national trends, but our congregation is growing. I do believe that people are looking for some solace somewhere. I think they're looking for some hope somewhere, is my humble opinion. I know that national trends, the percentage of Americans who define themselves as people of faith is at an all-time low. But I can tell you that our congregation continues to grow, and certainly for reasons other than the fact that I'm a part of it. That's for goodness. But Jess mentions in the chat that the people are perhaps seeking a sense of community. I think that's correct. I think they're looking for a sense of community, sense of family, and I think they're looking for some hope. And I think faith from Pastor Clinton and Pastor Best are certainly and are certainly much more qualified to speak about this than I am. That's for darn sure. But I do think people are looking for that sense of family, community. Faith is hope. That faith and hope, I think, are almost interchangeable in words. And I do think folks are looking for some hope, and I think faith can give hope. So yeah, that's what's happening at our congregation.
And mine is just dying and graying out.
Well,
it's my children they only take my grandchildren on like Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, a lot of people do that though. That doesn't make them terribly different though. But I think, yeah, yeah. But I mean, they're going that. At least they're going then, instead of not going at all.
Yeah. Anyway, you give best to Christine, and
I will.
And you have a good week, and you have good health. And if God willing, I'll be here to watch you next Sunday.
Thanks so much, my friend. You guys take care of yourself down there. Have a good week, okay?
You too.
All right,
bye
now. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. An article I was going to read here about ICE troops going to airports. President Donald Trump's decision to order federal immigration agents to U.S. airports to help with security during a budget impasse is drawing concerns that their presence may escalate tensions among air travelers frustrated over hours-long waits and screeners angry about missed paychecks. Trump made clear on Sunday that he was going ahead with the plan to have immigration enforcement officers assist the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, by guarding exit lanes or checking passenger IDs unless Democrats agreed to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Democrats are demanding major changes to federal immigration operations and showing no sign of backing down. Hundreds of thousands of Homeland Security workers, including from the TSA, U.S. Secret Service, and Coast Guard, have worked without pay since Congress failed to renew the DHS funding last month. Bad idea, said Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican of Alaska, about the new airport security plan, which Trump said would start on Monday. Quote, what we need to do is we need to get the DHS issues resolved. We need to get the TSA agents paid, unquote, she told reporters at the Capitol, where the Senate held a rare weekend session. Quote, do you really want to have even additional tensions on top of what we are already facing, unquote? She's right. She's right. Now, let's just remember, Democrats have offered to fund the Department of Homeland Security except ICE. They have offered to fund the TSA. They have offered to fund the Coast Guard. They have offered to fund everything in DHS, everything except ICE. It is Republicans who are not allowing DHS to be funded. It is Republicans who are not allowing the TSA to be funded. That's Republicans doing that. Let me read this. Chuckles asks, jog my memory, the TSA were on a union strike or something. I read agents were walking off the job. They're walking off the job because they haven't been paid. TSA is an essential government service. They are not allowed to go on strike, just like air traffic controllers. Air traffic controllers are not being paid either, by the way. They are not allowed to go on strike. They have to work. Whether they get paid or not, they are required to work. Imagine these gas prices where you have to drive to go to work, but you're not getting paid. So I just anyway, this is one of those things where Democrats, again, we like to just all too easily say they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. Civics, people. Civics 101. They are the minority. They are the minority in the House. They are the minority in the Senate. They are the minority in the Supreme Court. And they do not control the White House. It is a complete one-party control of federal government all the way across. Complete, total. So when we say they're not doing enough, there's only so much they can do. But one thing they can do in the Senate is the filibuster. And they are using it. But remember, Democrats have offered repeatedly to fund the Department of Homeland Security with the exception of ICE. TSA could be getting paid. The Coast Guard could be getting paid. All these groups could be getting paid except ICE. And you still have red states that are looking for FEMA relief that aren't getting their money either because FEMA hasn't been funded. Even though Trump 2.0 basically gutted FEMA and trying to make the states responsible for such things. States can't deal with 10, 20, and 30, and $40 billion disasters. It takes the federal government for things like that. Two 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. There goes the dog. She's barking at something. Here's a disturbing article, and then if the phones don't ring any further, we'll wrap up the program, but here's a disturbing article, and one that's going to continue to be more and more of an issue as we move through 2026. This isn't done quite yet. This is, of course, from the Associated Press. Also, and they have not. Right. California sheriff running for governor seizes more than 500,000 ballots from the 2025 election. Dateline, Riverside, California, and this is from the Associated Press. A California sheriff running for governor has seized more than 500,000 ballots cast in a November special election from county election officials, saying he's investigating a ballot count discrepancy. County officials have disputed the claims by Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, a Republican. California Attorney General Bob Bonta, a Democrat, called Bianco's move unprecedented and said it's designed to sow distrust in elections. Bianco held a news conference Friday saying his office had launched the investigation after receiving a complaint from a local citizens group about the ballot count from a November 2025 special election on redistricting. That would have been the vote where California decided to redistrict its House seats to add 5 more Democratic seats to counter what Texas did, doing an illegal redistricting, adding 5 more Republican seats. In the special election, voters approved a measure to redraw congressional district lines to favor Democrats in the upcoming midterm election. The measure passed in the county by a margin of more than 80,000 votes. Bianco seized ballots in Riverside County, the inland California county of 2.5 million people, where he has twice been elected sheriff. He called the effort a fact-finding mission. The investigation is simple. Physically count the ballots and compare the result with the total votes that were reported, he said on Friday. Bianco is one of 2 prominent Republicans running for governor in a crowded June primary that includes more than 6 Democrats. California runs a top 2 primary system that puts all candidates on the same ballot regardless of party and sends the 2 candidates who get the most votes onto the November general election. Leading California Democrats are worried that their party has so many candidates they risk splitting the vote and sending Bianco and Steve Hilton, another top Republican, into the general election. That would be a stunning outcome in a heavily Democratic state. More attacks on elections. If your vote was not so damn important, they wouldn't try to take it from you. Your vote matters. It does. It counts and it matters. And it's necessary. Don't let them take the vote from you. I'm trying to get a guest on who can speak with great authority about the SAVE Act and just what voter suppression it will end up causing. And I've not had any luck so far, but I am continuing to try to effort to get somebody on who can be really deeply authoritative about the SAVE Act, and we can talk about that. Now, so far, Senate doesn't seem to have the guts to. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it that way. They don't seem to have a taste for it, which is good. But Jess says it right there. Say it all the time. If our vote didn't count, why do they work so hard to take it from us? Remember the analogy that I always use. 10 people in the room, 1 billionaire and 9 of the rest of us. Who wins the vote? It's 9-1. There's more of us. It's exactly why they're trying to take the votes from us. There's more of us. Now, the SAVE Act did pass the House. It has not yet passed the Senate. Deliberations in the Senate are taking place. So far, the Senate doesn't seem to have shown a real taste for it. That's okay. I mean, I'm hoping it will I'm hoping that John Fetterman won't vote for it. Lizette mentions that she's trying to get all of her paperwork ready just in case the SAVE Act does pass. You're going to need a passport. You're going to need a birth certificate. You're going to need something. If you're married and you took your husband's name, you're going to have to reprove who you are all over again. And that's the point of the bill. It could cut the female vote by 20%. Lop it right off the top. Like a bad haircut. Just take 20% right out of the gate. It's exactly what it's designed for. But I'm trying to get a guest on to talk about it. Donna mentions Fetterman, big disappointment. You aren't kidding. You don't live here. He is such a disappointment here. It's not even funny. Trump says he won't sign any new legislation until the SAVE Act passes. Well, why do you think he wants it to pass so damn bad? It's not about voter ID. It's not. It's about destroying the women's vote. It really is about making women who took their husband's name second-class citizens all over again. All over again. 745 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. If the phone doesn't ring, we're going to wrap up. It's going to be a long week at work. It's going to be a really long, dreadful, horrible, freaking week. I ain't looking forward to it. No one should. And I have to say, work has gotten to that point again for me where I'm depressed even thinking about it. I'm angry that I still have to do it. And it's sucking the life out of me, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Quiet Phones, no problem. We'll be here again next week. We'll talk SAVE Act. We'll talk war, because this war is not going to end this week. But we'll come back again and talk to you again next week. Now, listen, here's the deal. Following us on hot101.net, the music returns. Actually, let me just say it this way. To all of our friends and family at hot101.net, to all the listeners literally around the globe, very humbly speaking for DJ Lex, DJ Earl, Waterboy, and the entire hot101.net family, everyone at hot101.net, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be part of your broadcast day yet again on this Sunday, the 22nd. We will return to you next week, the 29th. Yes, the 29th. From 6 p.m. The music returns right now. For everyone on our streaming stations and at GCPR, I want to say thank you very much again for Thomas and Gambit and Gilbert and George and Solid and everybody. Taz. I know I'm forgetting a lot of people. Pastor Best, Pastor Clinton, everybody at at GCPR. I want to say thank you again for allowing us to be part of your broadcast day. Now, here's what's happening at GCPR for the rest of the night and going into tomorrow. Villains View live pre-show usually starts around 8:30, 8:45. So you got yourself about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Wow. No way. Did you know what I was going to say, Lizette? Is that why you did that? Oh, gosh. You got about an hour to 45 minutes to go get yourself some snacks. Oh, that's great. The timing is so perfect. Oh, it's so perfect. The timing is so perfect. It's so great. Get yourself a snack. Walk the dog. Fold that laundry. Whatever it is that you need to do, you got You got about 45 minutes to an hour till the pre-show for the Villains View starts. They go live in full throttle from 9 p.m. on the Villains View. From 11 p.m., Conversations with T. Nathan, 7 days a week, by the way. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11 p.m. right here on GCPR, where every voice matters. Thomas returns to you tomorrow morning to kick off your broadcast work week from 8 a.m. For George and Lynn and Kristen and Daisy the dog, who you heard barking just a few seconds ago, I'm Jeff Kennedy saying thank you so very, very much for being part of our program tonight and for being loyal and just great folks and just being great people. We care about you. We love you. There would be no GCPR without you. Be proud. Be strong in these difficult times. Walk straight up and be proud and be strong. It's times like this when your country needs you to be strong. It's not always easy. It's not. But these are the times that try men's souls. These are the time, I would say, that try people's souls. This is when we need to stand up and be heard. Saturday, the 28th, is the No Kings protests across the country. If you go to nokings.org, I think it's a .org, or if you just Google No Kings, you can find a protest near you. Be strong. Get out there and protest. Find a No Kings near you and go be part of it. You can do it. It takes some courage. I get it. It really, really does. It takes some courage. It takes a lot of courage to fight through times like this. It truly, truly does. But No Kings is a day where you can get out and protest and be among like-minded people. You will be safe. You will find family. And I encourage you all to do exactly that. Find a No Kings protest near you, one you can get to easily, and go be part of it. Let your voice be heard. Over 7 million people protested at the last No Kings, and that was more than the one before that. So let this one be even bigger. I hope to see it reach double-digit millions. I hope it reaches 10 or more million people, this No Kings. You can be part of it. Now, I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat will look it up. I'm going to try to get to 8 o'clock if I can. Somebody in the chat will try to look it up. I hope. But I'm pretty sure it's a nokings.org. I think. But regardless, if you use search engine of your choice, I still recommend DuckDuckGo because they don't trace your search history. They don't track your search history. Go to No Kings. Just look up No Kings and you can find one near you. So I think that about does it. I've done about all the damage I can do for 1 week. We will return to you. That's what we'll talk about next week, too. I want to hear how your No Kings went. Tell me about your No Kings. We can talk about that next Sunday, too. We've got war on the table. We've got TSA, I have a feeling, will still be on the table. The SAVE Act and No Kings. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about next week, and we hope that you'll be here to talk about it with us. For Lynn and George and Kristen and Daisy the dog, I am Jeff Kennedy. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your broadcast day. Remember, Villains View, Conversations with T. Nathan, Sound of Coffee tomorrow morning from 8. Thanks so much, everybody. You are GCPR. Not just us. You. You are GCPR, and we couldn't do it without you. Have a great, great evening. We'll talk again next week.